So, the day after my dad and his fiancée got married, I guess she's also my stepmom now, I had to go to Victoria because my mom wanted me there. My cousin was supposed to come, but she changed plans cause her boyfriend got time off work. So they went to Whistler instead. When I got to my mom's house, I was there for half an hour and found out my mom and her wife were going to Ottawa for her wife's job. So I'd be staying with my step-grandparents until Christmas weekend. I call them step-grandparents here cause it makes sense for some reason, but in real life I've started calling them Nana and Papa. I'll be honest, I had so much fun with them. I really love them both so much. Step-grandpa loves basketball as well, and he's also a Lakers fan. Step-grandma taught me how to knit. I'm not that good. They made me amazing breakfasts and lunch every day I was there. We would go out for dinner every night, and they even live closer to UVic than my mom does. So they said if I go there, they'd turn a room into a study room for me. The thing was when my mom came back, and I went back there, she told me that she found out while in Ottawa that they got a new car for me for Christmas. Mom was kind of angry because she thinks it's too much, and I was honestly just scared cause I've never had anything so expensive. But my mom talked it out with my dad, and apparently it's all right. So on Christmas, they brought me the car and it is really cool. I was so nervous to drive it, but I do like it. I left it in Victoria because I don't want to drive by myself yet. My mom got me a lot of presents, and I mean a lot. There was so much there it felt super overwhelming. After Christmas, we saw that new Disney movie Strange World, because my mom and I both love those kind of movies. In it the main character is a teenager who has issues with his dad and grandpa, and he's also gay. But it's just who he is, and it's handled like normal in the movie. But as soon as it became clear he was gay, my mom got really quiet, and just kind of shut down, and just went to her room when the movie was done. She didn't even say goodnight to me. When I went to brush I could hear her crying really badly to her wife, and I know I shouldn't spy, but I just had to, and she was crying about how it's so normal now, and how she wishes she could have come out as a teenager, and lived her life the way she should have, and how she and her wife could have gotten married way before. I felt really bad, and then I heard her talk about how many years she wasted as a soccer mom, and I got mad as well, and just went to my room. I was kind of prepared to argue about the movie the next morning, but my mom didn't even come out of her room. Her wife said she was feeling sick, and when I went to say good morning, she stopped me cause she was like my mom doesn't need to see her like that. I heard my mom throwing up, and when I said good morning through the door just to check on her she said it back, but then started crying again really loudly, and had her wife take me away, because she said she can't let me hear her cry. I just stayed watching TV after that, because I felt really bad, cause it was my idea to watch that movie. Her wife kept going back and forth, and tried to get her to eat, and apparently she ate some bread, but then she threw that up too. Then my step-grandparents came, because they were worried, and they went driving with me to distract me. We went to DQ even though it was really cold, and it did get my mind off things, until step-grandpa answered a call from my mom's wife. And then he was telling her to take my mom to a hospital, but I heard her mention how my mom would rather die than go there, and how she didn't see her parents in the hospital, and didn't even go to see me. When my step-grandparents asked if that was true, I said it was about me, and I tried not to, but I did cry. They got me to stop, and I still feel fucking embarrassed that I cried in front of them, but we had a good day together. When my step-grandparents dropped me off, my mom was on the couch, and called me over, and then gave me such a big hug, but it was like she was holding in tears. She told me that she wasn't feeling good at all, and asked if I wouldn't mind going back to my step-grandparents the day after. Her wife said that maybe they should send me back to Vancouver, and I could stay with my uncle, and my mom just got so angry, I actually got really scared, and she went on a rant about how she's not going to let me see him, and how he's just been trying to turn me against her, and he just hates her, because she doesn't have AIDS trauma. That didn't make sense because my uncle doesn't have AIDS, and he needs to get over himself and remember that my dad is his brother and not son, and to focus on his actual granddaughter. Her wife tried to calm her down, but then she just yelled out that she wishes that my uncle would just fucking die, and it was the worst decision of her life to pity my dad, and not just take me with her when she left. I really didn't know that she hated him that much. Like when I was younger, They were always so close, and Dad would even joke sometimes about her stealing his brother. I honestly started crying really badly, because he is my favorite uncle, but that just made Mom angrier. And she was like to her wife that it's just proof that nobody understands, and that my uncle is trying to steal me cause I'm the best thing in her life. Then she actually yelled at me to fucking stop crying. That I cried more than I did when I was a baby, and she said the thing about me not getting a husband again. Her wife just took my mom to their room, and they left me on the couch, and I don't know, I couldn't stop crying, and I just fell asleep there cause I didn't feel like I could move. In the morning, I woke up and I was still on the couch, but there was a blanket on me, and my head was in my mom's lap, and really felt like crying again, but I held it in, and then my mom actually said sorry. She said she doesn't know what's been happening to her since we saw the movie, but it was no excuse to yell at me for crying. And she's so sorry that she hurt me so badly, and she's starting to understand how horrible she's been to me the entire winter break. She called her wife over and made her apologize to me too. And after breakfast we had a really big talk about how she was feeling, and she seemed really sorry and said she would never get mad at me for crying again. But what mattered to me was when she said she was sorry she took all her anger on my uncle out on me, and that she was wrong to do that, and wrong to let me know how she feels, because it would be wrong to make me stop loving him. She said she knows I might not forgive her, but even if I do, she'll never forgive herself, and she will try to change back to who I need her to be so we can go back to normal. She did offer to let me go to him, and I don't know why I didn't say yes, but I kind of felt like I still had to stay. I talked to her wife too, and she was really sorry for what happened, cause she'd never seen my mom that way before, and just wanted to calm things down. She told me she was wrong not to take my side, and apparently my mom was mad at her for not doing that, and she feels really guilty, and she's the one who put the blanket on me, and she slept by me until like 4 a.m. when my mom came and took over. She also said she'd do whatever it took to get my forgiveness, and she wishes she never hurt me, because I've become such an important part of her life, and she's so grateful I love her parents. For the rest of the break, my mom didn't really talk that much, and she did start eating, but it wasn't that much. My step-grandparents came over every day to check on me. Mom did seem to get a little bit better on New Year's. Every time I'd ask how she felt though, she'd just say she's fine, and it's her job to worry about me, and not the other way around. I did go home the day after New Year's, because school was starting, but I had to go back on Friday. I got back Sunday night, because I had a meeting at UVic. And Mom seemed really different. She seemed smaller somehow, and she definitely looked skinnier. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but she seemed skinnier, and she still seemed sad, but like she was at least pretending to be happy. The meeting at UVic went really good, and it really does seem like an amazing place to go to school. And even though I don't know if I want to do engineering anymore, there's still a lot there. My mom did make me sign up to go check out UBC, SFU and Langara as well. She also said that she's going with her wife to Ontario in February, and we can do a road trip together, while her wife is working, and check out universities there like Waterloo or McMaster and U of T. She said she wanted me to know I can choose to go to them, but she's confident I'll come to her. But aside from the meeting, she didn't leave home at all. I did to hang out with my step-grandparents. And when I was there, she cuddled me almost the entire day unless we were eating, and her wife told me she's been working from home. I don't know what to make about any of it, like if this means I'm getting my mom back like she used to be, or if she's just going to keep on changing, or if she's depressed now too. I wasn't planning on posting, but I feel like I need people's opinions on what could be happening with her. 2 months later. So, I'm posting here because I've gotten a lot of DMs, and I guess I just want to address things. My spring break is almost over, just this week left, so I don't know how much more I'll be on here. I'm not posting this in Justnamil because my original account has not been restored yet, and I figure it's best if I only post on my profile, or on Mom for a minute, and I'm sure that whoever sees this here could give advice. That way I won't break any rules again. So, first, I haven't seen my mom since winter break, and I do miss her a lot. It's weird because I don't want to go to her house, and my therapist has been helping me deal with it, saying this is the time to learn to be myself. But I do miss her a lot, and I wish I could see her. At the beginning of last month, my mom did start going to therapy herself, and I was supposed to go and see her for Valentine's, but her therapist said she was unstable and made it an unsafe environment for me, so I couldn't go. She texts me good morning and good night every day, but whenever I've called or FaceTime she would hang up, and I know that because it ends after a ring, or she'd text me to not call. I talk to her wife on the phone every week, and she said she's been getting better. My cousin got engaged last week, and my mom did call me then. My mom and my cousin are really close, and I'm so happy she's getting married, so it's a big deal for all of us. And my mom promised me that she'll come over whenever my cousin actually starts planning, because she doesn't want to get married until November. She did start making those jokes again about me and my boyfriend being next, but stopped when I asked. And when she called, my mom told me that therapy has helped her see she had the wrong view on some things. So she said she's sorry for not taking me with her when she came out and moved. She said that's why I was being resentful and thinking horrible things. And if she could do it all over again, she would take me so we could be as close as we were. She said she didn't take me because she still loves my dad and was worried he would be broken without me, and she didn't want to uproot my life. She did say it was nice to get a break from being a day-to-day mom, but it hasn't been worth how bad things have gotten between us. She promised me I am the most important thing in her life, and when therapy gets her to a place where she can be herself again, we will be just like we used to. I don't know, every time I think about that call it's been confusing me, because I'm happy that she finally said sorry to me, and that it's not my fault, and she was wrong to go without me. But at the same time the call just kept making me feel like she's never going to get to where she needs to be even though she's in therapy. I know I'm being ridiculous or worrying too much because I tried to tell her that, but she didn't get what I meant. My step-grandparents did come over for the weekend though. We had a lot of fun together, and step-grandpa/papa promised me that he'd get us Lakers tickets if they made it to the playoffs. And not just him and me but my cousin, her fiancé, my dad and his wife too. So I really hope that they do. They did ask me about my mom, and told me she's got a really big promotion at work, but I guess they knew talking about her was making me sad since they only did it once. Oh, and to people messaging me asking about my uncle, and asking if he's the same uncle I mentioned who has a son. Yes, he is. When my uncle's partner was alive, he got custody of his nephew because his sister died, and my uncle and his partner raised him together. So he is my uncle's son, and is my cousin, and his daughter is my niece. I got 12 people messaging me, and like it's probably just one troll, but it is very annoying. If you guys have any advice that I can bring up with my therapist, I would love to hear it. 2 months later. So I guess I'm posting here, because I need to vent somewhere, because it feels like nobody is listening. I guess the first thing is that other than texting, my mom and I haven't talked at all aside from this last weekend. The first thing was that my cousin is getting married, and she told me that she wants to have kids as soon as she gets married. Because my aunt isn't alive, and our real grandparents aren't either. She wants my mom to be her kid's grandma. I don't know why that still made me feel so weird, especially because I was there when my cousin phoned my mom, and she seemed so happy and excited even though this is like 2 years away. But my mom has been taking care of my cousin since she was like 11 or 12, and they both mean a lot to each other, so I tried to get over it. And then my step-grandfather got me, my dad, my cousin, and her fiancé tickets to the Lakers/Warriors game. My step-grandfather couldn't come even though he wanted to because my step-grandmother and my mom's wife got sick, and my mom didn't feel she could take care of both of them alone. I still had the best time at the game and saw LeBron and Steph Curry, and the Lakers even won, but I wish that everyone could have gone. And then I got into UVic, UBC, SFU, McMaster, Waterloo, Guelph and University of Guelph. I think it's because of my extracurricular projects and clubs, because my English grades are still very bad, even though I'm doing great in everything else. So my mom phoned me and said she was coming over this last weekend, because it was a long weekend, and we were going to talk about university, and her will, and I got nervous, but excited because she was actually going to come. And she came on Friday, and said she'd be staying with my cousin, but she came to our house first. She really looked a lot different. I mean, she looked so much skinnier than before, and she had her hair dyed jet black with green streaks in it. And then she was wearing all these fancy and expensive clothes that she never wore, before like she was wearing a Versace dress, and promised to get me one too. She also got a tattoo on her wrist with my name, and showed me it. And the design was beautiful, but it was so weird seeing her looking so different. She said she'd leave on Monday, and that gave us an entire weekend together. She took me and my boyfriend out for dinner, and then we even watched the new Fast and Furious movie, and she didn't even make those jokes about us getting married. And I stayed over at my cousin's that night, and we did cuddle and get up late and make breakfast together, and we had a lot of fun. We spent that day together as well, and then had dinner at a really nice place in Burnaby with my cousin and her fiancé. And then on Sunday we finally had the talk. She and my dad's wife sat me down, and first they talked about the will. My mom said she's leaving me most of the things she has with my cousin, getting the rest, and my dad said pretty much the same. I don't want to go into specifics, but they kept talking about it down to the details, like my great-grandmother's necklaces, and what to do when I inherit their houses and life insurance, and stuff, even though I really didn't want to. It felt so morbid thinking about them being dead, and they wouldn't stop. They both said I'm going to university. I'm 17 and I need to know this, and it just made my mood so sour. And then I told my mom the universities that I got into, and she was so happy that I got into so many. And then she said that as much as she wants me to come to UVic, she's proud of me either way, and would be perfectly fine with me staying and going to UBC. But then I told her that my boyfriend was going to McMaster, and I wanted to go so we could be together. Her face got really disappointed then, and she said that's not the right reason to choose moving all the way to Hamilton for, and she can't support my decision if it's not for myself and my education. She said if I'm serious about going to an East Coast university, then every other one on my list is just as good. That started another argument between us because I got really mad and asked what's the problem, and she asked if I'm going to study or to support my boyfriend. Then she went on about sex, and what if I got pregnant, and I yelled at her that she should be happy since it's like she keeps talking about me getting married and having kids. She didn't yell back at me, and just said that she was always joking about that, and won't make those jokes again. But then I said that she and Dad were both 18 when they got married, and then had me, and she started talking about how hard that made university for her, and how it led her to repress who she was for so long, and how she wants me to focus on my future. Then when I said I wanted to have my future with him, she said she's going to talk to his mother about this, and I should get ready to break up with him if he can't go long distance, because it's the best thing for me. And I started crying because I don't want to break up with him, and I didn't want to because as soon as I did I could see her get really mad, like she wanted to scream at me, but all she said was that she's extremely disappointed in me, and that she can't be here. She left and she went to my cousin's house, and that just made me cry more, and I fell asleep hugging my dad. On Monday my mom, my dad and my dad's wife met with my boyfriend's mom, and we weren't allowed to be there. I don't know what they talked about, but they did agree that we shouldn't go to McMaster together, even though I know they wouldn't have said that if we both chose UBC. My boyfriend's mad too, but he said that he's still going to McMaster no matter what his mom says. Before my mom left she told me she knows I'm mad at her, but one day I'll know that she was just looking out for me, and to choose any other university on my list, and she'll pay for it right away. It just makes no sense. I really want this, and they're all agreeing with her that I shouldn't. I talked to my cousin, and she said my mom has a point. I told my uncle, and he said that I need to look at it like would my boyfriend go to Guelph for me, even though that's not the point. Even my counselor said that my mom was right, and that just because we've been having issues, and that she's been on the wrong side of things doesn't mean she's always wrong. I don't know what else to write, I'm just feeling really pissed off. 2 months later. Hey everyone, it's been a while since I posted, but my parents didn't let me online until now. But I'm graduated now, prom went by and it was great. Then there was the convocation ceremony, and I did amazing on my final exams. I did decide that I'd go to UBC. I still wish I could be going to McMaster, but most of my friends are going to UBC or Langara, or UVic, so I won't be completely alone. My mom was happy when I told her. She did say she wished I'd have chosen UVic, but that UBC is one of the best schools. Before convocation, we got into another argument. My friend Sarah is from Egypt, and now that high school is over, she's going there in August to get married. I know she's young, but she's known this guy since they were kids, and they were dating there before she moved over. She's invited all of us to the wedding, and her grandparents are super rich there, and said they'd get us rooms at the best hotel. Except once again, everyone said I couldn't go. My mom said that she doesn't want me to go to a country where people are persecuted for being gay or trans. But I Googled it, and being gay isn't illegal there. My dad said the same thing about it. My uncle is gay and has been to Egypt, and told me that foreigners aren't bothered about such things. He said that if I really want to go to Egypt, then next year he'll arrange for the family vacation to go there, since it's one of my cousin's/his son's dream vacations, and I can come. But I want to go with my friends and see Sarah's wedding, because apparently it's going to be like a princess wedding out of a movie. Convocation was the best night of my life. Everything about it was just perfect. And my favorite part was when they announced the scholarships that we got. And I got so many, and my mom and dad both looked so proud of me. Then all us grads went to a party on a farm that a classmate was hosting, and it was so great there. My boyfriend and I had the best time, but in the morning, we did break up and decide to stay friends, because he doesn't want to do long distance, and thinks dragging it out over summer would just be too painful. And I don't know, I just felt so wrong the day after that I did something really stupid, and it kind of made a mess of everything. The house became a real crowd after that. Like my uncle came over, his son's wife and their daughter, my step-grandparents, my cousin, and they all stayed over for like a week. I wasn't allowed out of my room, and somebody had to be there with me at all times. It was really weird. None of my friends came over to check on me either, because my mom had my cousin text them to keep them away. Except my friend Vanessa, who I only met at a party in November, came over anyway. She stayed overnight with me, and even cried when I admitted what I did, and told me she thinks of me as one of her best friends. It was Vanessa's first time meeting my parents, and that went really well. My mom's wife really liked her when she found out she wanted to work in politics after graduation. My mom was really weird during that entire time though, because I heard her arguing with my uncle a lot, but neither of them left the house. Somebody would stay with me in the morning, and then after her remote work finished, she'd come to me, but even when she was working, she'd peek in every 15 minutes. What was really weird was that she didn't cry in front of me at all, and kept telling me to not cry, and would leave if I did. But I know I heard her crying in the washroom. I don't know what issue she has with me crying, and it's really making me feel so fucking down every time I think about it. As for everyone else, my uncle made me promise never to do something stupid like that again. He told me that he knows I have actual grandparents now, but that he'll always see me just like he does his actual granddaughter. My step-grandparents were so nice too, and even brought my car over from Victoria, because they thought it could cheer me up. My baby niece obviously had no idea what was going on, but it was really nice to be around her. It was also the first time in forever that my mom's wife and I actually got to spend some time alone together, and that was nice. It was funny talking to her about when she was in high school, because she sounds like the exact opposite of who she is now. She also said sorry to me about my mom only telling my cousin when they started dating, and waiting until they were moving in to tell me. She told me that my mom wanted to tell me earlier, but she asked her not to until she knew for sure that my mom was the one, and by then, they were moving. That did make me cry, but hearing her say sorry did also make feel better for some reason. My mom and her wife went back to Victoria, but my mom's come back 3 times already, and even came with me and my dad to see my psychiatrist, and she's been texting me and FaceTiming me a lot more. Every time she sees me now, she's been hugging me a lot more, calling me by a lot of baby nicknames, some that I even forgot about. She also said it was all right for me to go to Egypt if I really wanted to. I know that the stupid thing I did got her worried and all, but it feels so odd that that's what it took for her to snap back to being like she was, and I don't know if it's real or not. I guess I'm posting here again, because I've honestly missed being able to talk to people here and get advice from you guys. So if you've got any, I'd love to hear it. 5 months later. Hi everyone. I know it's been a really long time since I posted, but I've been busy because of university and other stuff. My mom has been coming over every other weekend now, And if her wife doesn't have to travel for work, then she comes too. I guess things have been getting better between us. Even when she's not over, she's always texting and calling, and I know it's because of what I did. I haven't tried doing something like that again. I have thought about it, but I haven't tried it, and I don't think I'm going to. And I have full control over my phone and internet again, because my dad agreed that I need it for university. I did go on Instagram again, but I deleted it because of my mom's posts. They're just so weird. There's one of her and her wife that they posted for Pride, and they're barely covered. And my mom looks so skinny like a skeleton, and all the comments are of my friends' moms cheering them. I just felt so gross seeing that I deleted the app. I think things between my mom and my uncle have been getting better. My uncle took me to the counter-protest against the anti-Sogi people in Vancouver. My mom found out, and she told him thank you for taking me there, and then they hugged. They still don't talk to each other again, but my mom hasn't said anything bad about him again. I'll be honest, 'cause I really don't like university, and I just find it to be so much and so stressful. And it's like everyone is a genius. The subjects that I was amazing at in high school are so much harder, and I spend so much time in office hours. I've tried dating again, and I even went out with a girl a few times. My friend Vanessa set us up. But school has just been so in my head that I had to say no. I just wish that there was another way. I mean, I like the UBC campus, and I've made friends, but I don't think I'm having the same university experience as everyone else. So it's been really stressful, and I don't know, I just wish it was different. And I did go to Egypt before in the summer. My mom told me that if my dad or my uncle's son Miles could go with me, then I could go. I know that she only changed her mind because of the thing that I did, but I'm still glad that she let me go. Miles' wife was taking their daughter to see her family in America, so he went with me. And it was honestly so fun. Sarah got all of us booked in this really fancy hotel. Her grandparents were so nice and took us on this boat tour. And then the wedding and the reception were so much fun. Sarah and her husband are living in Egypt now, and they're working for her grandpa's company. It's so weird because she's pregnant now and she's as old as I am. When Sarah's mom posted the news about being a grandma on Facebook, my mom and her wife were over, and she read it and went, "Oh, I wish you got married and were having a baby too. I'm so jealous she's going to be a grandma." It was so weird, and I don't know why she always says things like that. And I felt like throwing up, 'cause sometimes I feel like people are right with their comments, that she just wants me to give her a baby, 'cause she can't have one anymore. My mom does go with me and my dad to each psychiatrist appointment, and the last time we went was so weird, because my mom got told about how a lot of the stuff she said and did hurt me, and how she needs to let me cry, how eventually I'll be able to get off meds. She just acted so weird, like it took so much to get her to say sorry, and she did. And it was all the words of a real apology, it just didn't sound like she meant it. And she even argued with my psychiatrist about crying, and then just said that she has a complex about it, and if I need to cry, she'll try to let me. So I think things are getting better, even though my mom is still being really weird about a lot of things. And I will post again, but probably after the next semester break or later. I got a lot of DMs on here of people who were worried. I'm okay. I'm just busy 'cause of school. 9 months later. Hi everyone. It feels like it's been so long since I've updated. I really haven't been online at all. But honestly, after my last update. But things did get a lot better between me and my mom, and honestly, it was really good. She stopped coming over every weekend, but does come for all of my psychiatrist appointments still. So I didn't have any reason to update, because she was good, and I felt good and happy, and school is still really hard, and I honestly hate it. And one time I told my mom just how hard it was, and how I was getting CS in most of my classes in this summer semester. And I did cry, and she didn't yell at me or get mad at me, she just hugged me instead. I just hate university now, it makes me feel stupid. I am back on Instagram, because my mom took down all those photos she had where she's like pretty much naked. She didn't tell me why when I asked. She just said she didn't need it anymore. But according to her wife, apparently a girl I graduated with tried flirting with her online, and she was so grossed out by the idea of anyone my age liking her like that she deleted everything. Her wife said she was like, I could be her mom, and the idea of that made me laugh. She's stopped getting skinnier too. She's still super skinny, but she's not losing any more weight. But a big thing did happen last week, and it's why I'm updating again. And pretty much I was spending the last 2 weeks before my classes start again at my mom's house in Victoria. I've been seeing this guy since May, and it's not that serious, but I thought I might have got pregnant even though I'm not, and I snuck out and bought a test. When I used it, my mom's wife walked in on me and she tried talking to me about it, but my mom heard, and she came in, and it all just got so bad then. She freaked out and told me that if I'm pregnant, then I have to marry whoever the dad is. Her wife said that's not an issue, that I might not be pregnant, and I don't need to ruin my degree over this. And then my mom just got even more angry and yelled that she's not going to let me just kill her grandson, and they'd raise him if they needed to. I started crying, and she yelled that if I am pregnant, I have to learn to stop crying just like she did. And then her wife took her away to her room, and I just kind of stayed there. Her wife came back like half an hour later, and I could hear them arguing even when she took me to my bed. She promised me that my mom's just in shock, and that I won't have to do anything I don't need to do. I just went to sleep. I know they kept on arguing, but I just felt so bad. In the morning my mom woke me up with breakfast in bed. She still made me brush though, and apologized and said that she wants so badly to have a grandson the right way that she got caught up. She admitted that she was wrong and said that we would do whatever I wanted if I was pregnant, and I wouldn't be killing anything. I told her how it felt like she was lying cause of all the stuff that made it sound like she did want me to have a baby, and she said she was just eager, and it didn't mean anything, but that she'll stop saying it because it clearly had a bad effect on her. I'm not pregnant, I'm not having a baby or anything, but it really scared me because it's almost been a year and things have been so good, and then this happened. I'm not seeing that guy anymore either. I don't want to think about what could have happened, and with my grades how they are, I'd rather do good in this semester. Oh, and to everyone messaging me why I call my mom's wife that, and not my stepmom. It's just because on here sometimes I mention my dad's wife too. In real life I do introduce her as my stepmom. I didn't at the beginning, but I did after she started to. I don't know when I'll update again, and if things get good again, and stay that way I might not because I won't need to scream online.